Hello everyone and welcome to LEGO Star Wars Hot Takes episode 20. As always, if you have any hot takes or controversial opinions about LEGO Star Wars, make sure to go ahead and leave them in the comments below. But without further ado, hopping right into it, starting off with Sad Lad. He says, hot take, the helmet hole situation isn't as bad as LEGO fans think it is. The wastecape situation is way worse. And yes, I completely agree with you. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Helmet holes need to be on troopers that require helmet attachments, like your special troopers and obviously your captains and commanders. I think it's ridiculous to hate when those type of troopers have helmet holes because they obviously need them, and when you put their attachments on, you can't even notice the holes anymore. However, I do think that all normal troopers that don't have attachments or don't need attachments look pretty bad with the helmet holes. But like you said, I think the wastecape situation is way worse, specifically for clone troopers. They did do wastegapes on the Imperial Snowtroopers, however, those wastegapes are a very light gray, and they don't really stand out much from the actual white on the legs, so it's not as noticeable as it is on clone troopers. When on clone troopers, most of the wastegapes are either colored or just black, and it looks pretty bad when there's just two slivers on the side of the legs. It looks like a karate build or something. I think it's just ridiculous to print them on there. If LEGO doesn't want to use cloth wastegapes because they're hard to put on for kids, I think they should just do no wastecape at all instead of printing it on there. Nerds of the Corn says, sequel sets need to make a return. I know they aren't the most popular, but I would love to get my hands on a First Order TIE, Maz Castle, or Gorilla Walker since I missed out on getting those. And you're not really missing out on much. I mean, if you really want those sets, I strongly recommend you just buy them on the third-party market because they have barely appreciated in value. The First Order TIE Fighter had a retail price of $70, and 8 years later, it's barely going for $100. Actually, according to Brick Economy, it is still at $95. Pretty much the same thing with the ATM-6. I mean, it's going for around $200, and its retail price was $150. And I mean, that's barely a 30% value increase in 6 years, which is really bad for LEGO sets. And then you also mentioned Maz's Castle, and its retail price was $60, and Brick Economy literally says it's going for $62 sealed. And this is really the trend with most sequel sets. I mean, I don't think any of them have even doubled in value since they retired. I mean, The Force Awakens Millennium Falcon was arguably the most popular set from that wave, and it retailed for $150, and today it's only going for around $160 to $170. Not even sets like the First Order Star Destroyer have doubled in value yet. There's just not a demand for sequel sets right now, and this is also the reason that LEGO's probably not going to make any more for a very long time. And it does kind of suck because I do admit some of the vehicles from those sequel movies were super cool despite the movies being terrible. Like, I mean, the First Order Star Destroyer and the ATM-6 are very cool looking vehicles, so is the First Order TIE Fighter, although the movies were just bad and that clearly hindered the demand for these sets, so that's why LEGO's probably not going to make any for a very long time, or at least until new Disney shows come out that continue to bridge the gap between episodes 6 and 7, and then we actually start getting into the sequels territory with the current Disney shows, but that's still probably a few years down the road. So as of now, sadly, we're probably not getting any more sequel sets, but on the bright side, if you want sequel sets, they are very cheap for how old they are. So I mean, if you want those sets, just go buy them on the aftermarket. That's your best option. US Minecrafting says, hot take, people can and should be encouraged to grow past LEGO. LEGO is an extremely expensive hobby on the same level as Warhammer 40k. It's not affordable besides getting one set every so often as a treat. And I'm not even really sure what you mean entirely. You said people should grow past LEGO like we should grow out of it because it's a toy. However, then you argue that it's too expensive, so I guess that's not what you meant. So I'm taking this as you think people should just move away from LEGO because it's too expensive. And I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but like also you get what you're paying for. And obviously that's not stopping people from buying it because we're interested in it and we want to spend our money on it. And I think it's kind of ridiculous to quote unquote encourage people to move on to something else just because you say it's expensive. So I mean, yeah, I don't really know what you're getting at here. I mean, you said it's not affordable besides getting one set every so often as a quote unquote treat. And I mean, I don't really want to talk about people's financial situations, but I mean, a lot of people, especially adults, definitely get sets more than just every now and then. And I get like one massive set like every few years or so would be a treat for like a casual person that's not even a part of the community. But however, for most people in the community, they do want to spend their money on LEGO, and I don't know if very many people have a problem doing it. And then you compared it to Warhammer 40k. I mean, I don't know a lot about Warhammer, but I know it has really cool lore and that their army sets retail for like $100 to $200. But I mean, with this and LEGO, you're getting a lot of high quality plastic that someone had to design and that has a bunch of unique pieces and all of that. I mean, it's not gonna cost $20 for one of these massive sets. T-Guy Talon says, hot take, UCS sets are not that good. I get it's got adult collectors, but they are too big, so you have to buy a new piece of furniture when you get one. When you do with their absurd prices like $800, that's way too much. Now I do get that not having enough space for your LEGO collection is a problem for for most people, I mean me included, but I mean why would you say UCS sets aren't that good because they take up space and they're big? I mean that's just pretty irrational, and I'm pretty sure most people have a place in mind of where they're going to put their UCS set before they buy it, and then you complain that they cost a lot. Well, I mean big things that have a lot of pieces in them are gonna cost a lot. I mean yes, obviously a Lego set that has 7,500 pieces is gonna cost $800 or $850, whatever it is. I mean obviously the more of something you have, the more expensive it's gonna be. That's like saying, oh, a McDonald's cheeseburger costs $1. No way, 1,000 McDonald's cheeseburgers cost $1,000. Like they have thousands and thousands of pieces, of course they're gonna be expensive. So yeah, T-Guy, that's what I have to say about your hot take. Nomad X7 says, hot take, can Lego give us more than 2 minifigs in a UCS set that costs $600 now that the Marble Tower comes with 28 minifigures plus Hulk? Now I do get where you're coming from, however UCS sets are about the build and not the minifigures, and I mean the Marble Tower is also a bit different because it's supposed to represent a whole entire battle from the Avengers, so obviously it's going to come with a bunch of minifigures, and this sometimes can apply to Lego Star Wars UCS sets, but not much, unless the vehicle is fitting to have a bunch of minifigures like the UCS AT-AT, including a bunch of snowtroopers. You're just going to get a very nice model with 1 or 2 minifigures to complement it. Although because there's only 1 or 2 included, I do believe that they should be very high quality minifigures that are only included in that set. Doesn't mean the characters of those figures have to be exclusive, but I think those figures themselves should be very high quality and exclusive to the UCS set, unless obviously it's a vehicle that requires a lot of minifigures. The only other vehicle I can think of off the top of my head that would require a lot of minifigures would be like an ATTE if Lego ever decided to do that. Darth Burger says, hot take, exclusivity, white whales, and hard to get figs and sets, that's what makes Lego Star Wars collecting fun, not having the most sought after fig in a $13 set. And obviously I 100% agree with you, this is what I said in my last hot takes video, although I do think a lot of people misunderstood me, or they just didn't watch the whole video to the point where I compared Captain Rex to Boba Fett, because I do think that characters should be available for everybody, although I think there should be different versions with different levels of rarity, just like how they've done with Boba Fett. I mean there's Boba Fetts that go for $3,000, there's Boba Fetts that go for $200, and there's Boba Fetts that go for $10. He's one of the most common and popular and sought after Lego Star Wars figures, just because there's so many different versions, and there's no reason why Captain Rex can't be the same way. In my mind, I think the best option is just to put a non-arm printed Rex in the Microfighter, but it doesn't even have to be a Rex without arm printing. It could be a Rex that has a different arm printing pattern for all I care, as long as there's different versions and the one of the Venator is more exclusive. I just think having a non-arm printed version would be the easiest thing for Lego to do, because I doubt they have already designed a new Rex. But whatever it is, I just think there needs to be multiple versions with different rarities, because it makes collecting more vibrant and more fun, it gives everyone the characters they want, and it keeps the third-party market healthy. Anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. As always, if you have any hot takes or controversial opinions about Lego Star Wars that you want me to discuss next week, make sure to go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see them on the end screen right now.